Hello, welcome back. Now let us talk about the need for dispute resolution. Why is there a need? We know there is a huge need for dispute resolution, but let us just look into the whole aspect of it. Now, the dispute resolution is aimed at resolving disputes or conflicts by various parties with the aim of engendering peace for harmonious living. Now, peace is extremely important. We are all struggling for peace, and just to get that peace, we are having more and more disputes. That is the irony of human beings. Now, human existence has been based on struggles to make ends meet, and the whole thing, the problem with humankind is that our needs initial were food, shelter and clothing, and now our wants have also become our needs, which is the reason why most of the disputes and conflicts they arise. Talking about the dispute resolution mediums in the ancient days. Now, like the way I ended the last lecture, I told you that there were multiple ways of ADR, alternate dispute resolutions, that were used in the old days, and now they have completely gone obsolete, and we are using more of the recent ways. But when we see, and we're going to compare a little bit of how the ancient times dispute resolutions used to work. And back then, the first one and the most important one was the conventional means of age grades. Now, this means that the conventional ways, there were different tribes, different communities had their own ways of doing things, and that so they had their own ways of resolving disputes also. And most of the times what used to happen was that the local rulers and to a lesser degree were used. The local rulers, basically, they were the ones who used to come. And even if you have noticed, in most of the rural areas or the smaller communities in any of the countries, there always are people who normally listen to the local rulers. They are normally the older people who are considered to be more wise people, who have more experience, and problems are usually taken to them, and they normally give any kind of resolutions or solutions for the disputes. And lastly, there also used to be the conventional courts. Now, the conventional courts, they used to play a role of litigation as well as arbitration. The conventional courts more went towards arbitration because their decisions were not as legally binding as a court, but their decisions were more respected because they were led by some of the leaders who were more respected in the societies. Now, the current ADRs, the most important ones are mediation and arbitration, and these two are the most important ones that are used everywhere in any kind of disputes. If you talk about international disputes, arbitration is more appreciated or accepted because if you are dealing with two international parties, then if any decision is being taken, then it has to be ensured that they respect the decision and they follow the requirements of that decision. Now, some of the common forms of ADR for civil cases are neutral evaluation, settlement conferences, and community dispute resolution programs. In depth, we're going to be talking about them in our next lesson. So some of the points to note over here are that alternate dispute resolution is intended to reduce the cost, stress, and formalities associated with going to a court. And trust me, the cost of going to a court is extremely a lot. Stress even more than that, and formalities extremely more. So if you're going with ADRs, you are getting through a lot of that stress of spending too much of time, going through a huge formality, and just getting all your things done through ADR. In a summary, the history of dispute resolution has a lot of ups and downs, has a lot of deletions and a lot of acceptances. So many of the ADRs that were used in the past, they have sort of evolved into newer ways, but the exact same ones that were used in the history are not being used anymore. And this is the whole process. ADR is an evolutionary process. It will never stop because disputes would never stop. So whatever we're experiencing right now, we need to kind of understand the DNA of what the dispute is and how it should be resolved, and that is what is going to help us in evolving the whole process, coming up with better and better ways of resolution of different disputes that can lead to a better and a peaceful life that everyone expects and everyone deserves. Thank you.